Hey there, welcome to the table. Today we're going to play Ezra and Nehemiah, and it's by Guess Garphill Games. There is a fabulous tutorial of this done by Paul Grogan. He was, I think, sponsored to do so, but he does great work always, and so it's a great video. Slicker Drips did a solo playthrough, but it's old prototype version, so not all of it applies anymore. We're going to go ahead and play this, and we're going to do the solo version. I'm doing it on Tabletop Simulator. I do own the physical copy. Um, I do, like I always say, I love Tabletop Simulator so much. Um, I just, I know some people like to get away from the electronics, but I love being with the electronics when I'm playing by myself, solo. If I'm playing with other players, I prefer to be in person and have the physical copy. So it's a weird little thing of mine. Not everybody agrees with, but anyways, here we are. I know my last recording was for the game Oathsworn, and some folks have been wondering where's my next Oathsworn video. I started playing it multiplayer, and my multiplayer folks asked me to stop continuing my solo campaign because it gives me all this insider information on things, and that is one problem with Oathsworn is that the replayability of it is a little limited. So, anyways, I stopped playing my solo campaign uh, to respect, in respect to my friends, and they know that I've played up through chapter 5. But there's 21 chapters of that game, so the rest of them are still going to be a mystery. Anyways, this game is simple but complex at the same time. There's a lot going on. Some of the rules can be a little, okay, what do I do in this situation? And I actually want to play it schizophrenically, where I give each one of these players a certain focus. Because this game, it's a big point salad game. There's points, and you get it's an Oprah Winfrey episode. Everybody gets something. No matter what you do, you move this along the track, you get something. You move this along the track, you get free things. You're getting free stuff given to you all the time, and some of it is you're trying to maximize how to get those free things while still doing the things you want to do to score points. And so I would love to do a schizophrenic playthrough, but I want to try the solo just because I don't like schizophrenic playthroughs normally, and so I do think that there's value in this, and how can I deny the fact that there is a lion and a lamb deck of cards for this game? So it's awesome. Okay, when you play solo, there are two difficulties. It's just flipping this board. The big key thing here is see how this is this or this or this scores you a point. If you play hard difficulty, all three of these score you points instead of just one. But we're going to do standard, and you can see they just shuffled things. I don't know if they shuffled my cards here, so I didn't mean to do that. So I'll shuffle mine as well. And let's back up a second and talk about the game. So this game is a Ezra and Nehemiah is about the Jewish people who were enslaved by the Babylonians, have now been freed from captivity by Cyrus and the Persian Empire, and he allowed them to go back to Jerusalem to rebuild their city and to rebuild their temple, which was very important to them. Um, that is the thematic element to this, and I don't I know everybody has a big spectrum on where they stand on a lot of things, but I'm just going to make this statement real quick because I saw in the comments of some of the video playthroughs I was watching from others. Um, if you don't like the theme, I don't want to hear from you. Like, I am specifically telling you, I don't care. Um, because for whatever your reasons are, they're not important to me, and they're not important to anybody else either. So keep it to yourself. That's all I have to say. Um, and I only say this because there are some extremely anti-Semitic people out there in the world who seem to think it's their place to tell everybody and reveal it. And not interested. That's all I have to say. These people were enslaved, and They were released from slavery. I don't know what more to tell you. That's the theme, and there's nothing unwholesome about that. I mean, this would be no different than playing the game Freedom. And I just there's a zero tolerance for it in my comments. That's all I'm gonna say. You can talk about the game all you want and the mechanics and those kind of things. So, anyways, let's get back into it. Um, but that is the theme, and I think this is, like I said, it's a point salad-ish game, but it looks fabulous. All right, so what do we do? Well, we start with a deck of four. When you play on the tabletop, you do have to switch to the purple player because that's who you play as, is the purple player. And basically, during the course of your turn, it actually tells you right here. You play a card, and your card's going to go into one of these three spots, and you can only have two cards deep in each spot. So once you fill up all three of these spots, you then play a fourth, fifth, and sixth card over top of them. You choose a main action, which is either going to be red, gray, or blue, and then you get to do one of these two. And these are they're free actions. They call them auxiliary, but you only get to do one. You don't get to do both. And then you have a player board with a lot of other stuff that we'll talk about as we go. The setup for the game is almost identical. In a two-player game, you have this overlay tile that goes here on your game board. I think the game board has a four-player printed on it, and then this is a 1 to 2 player overlay you lay over top of it. The other side of this overlay would be for 3 players. So this changes based on number of players. This here is the altar blessing thing. I don't remember what the name of it is, but that's what we're doing here. We're choosing our scenario. So which of these 4 scenarios you want to play in the game? I'm just going to let it randomly choose. So we got the worker scenario, which means this one here. And we'll talk about that in a second. So the game in a 1 to 2 player game, this wall is already completed. So it's already built. It's considered neutral. And there's nothing we can do to interact with this wall. So these walls basically are just empty blank spaces in the game board. And the reason I say that is these other spots are walls where there's rubble. That's what these cubes represent. This is rubble. And the rubble has to be cleared, and then the wall has to be built. And then clearing the rubble gets you rewards, and then building the wall gets you rewards, which is why I was making the comment that these are all neutral, meaning that sometimes you get rewards if it's like, for example, if I build this wall here, I'm going to gain 3 silver here because I get a reward for being next to this gate. You don't get any rewards for being next to another wall, at least not that I'm aware of. Okay, so in a 1 or 2 player game, this particular wall is completely sealed up. In a 3 player game, there's shenanigans that happen in the setup. I don't remember exactly what. Some of these gates are going to be still neutral, but it'll be slightly. It won't be quite as bad as this in terms of like the number of spaces that are gone. The other, let's see. So this changes in a 1 or 2 player game. Not much else changes. Almost everything else remains identical, which is awesome. Now these tiles here are random, and they get randomly placed. These 3 heroes on the bottom are not random, but along the top here, these can occur in different order. These 2 middle rows are one pool of tiles, and then the ones along the top are another pool. Okay. So, what else is there to talk about? Your player board. Like we said, this is your action section. You have blessings of different colors here that will move along their tracks. You have, these are called elders spaces. And then you have farmers and workers. These are the workers that are available to us. These 2 are the gatekeepers, so we'll take care of those in a second. And then see these 2 resources here. They actually start on your board. You randomly get these tiles, and they are potentially different between each player. Okay, so the in a solo game or a two-player game, uh, two of these corner gates are going to belong to you and two to your opponent. Now, in a solo game, we get to pick which two we want to own. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this gate down here and this gate over here. And then that means that he has this one and that one. Okay, so I know we haven't gotten into like all the different rules and all that stuff. So like, why would you choose one versus another? Um, as a rule of thumb, the gates are built, and if you build next to a gate, you and the gate owner get this reward at the top. So I own this gate. So if I complete this wall, I get this reward just once. But if he completes this wall, he gets this reward, and then I also get that reward. And so I actually want to build these two walls here to be able to get this reward, and then he would get it as well. But anyways, that's the gist. The solo bot has workers and money and gold. He will not have any other resources. So if he gains any resource, he gets gold instead, which is a bit of a cheat. It's very much a cheat. Um, and if he were to gain any bread, he gains silver instead. And it's all written right here. So any resource is actually a gold. Any food is actually a silver. And then anytime that he can't trade or oh, I know what that symbol is. Hold on. Oh, that symbol is the same thing as this. What is that? I think that's gain a worker. No, 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 no. Crap. It's in here. Let me find it. Here it is. So what it basically is saying is you can retrieve an elder, you can retrieve a worker from one of these locations back and use it again. That's what it means. So that's a little on the complicated side, but basically, anytime he gets to retrieve, he gets to move his tent instead. Or if he can't trade, he'll move his tent. And we'll talk about what that means a little bit more in detail. But just understand that the computer or the solo bot has much more simplified. He only uses gold. He does all resources turn into gold for him, and all bread turns into money for him. On his turn, he is, and this is just showing what he starts the game with: one worker and two silver and no gold. We're going to draw one of these lion cards, and we're going to draw a lamb card every time. And the lion card's going to give him a trade action, and he's going to always do one. If he can't, he'll move his tent. And then the lamb action will give him something that he's actually going to do to interact with the board. So we'll always do both, and this is for when he builds walls, etc. But you can see right there, it's called a focus card and a scheme card. Focus and scheme. So, and then for us, we are going to play a card from our hand, take one main action. We can optionally take this auxiliary action, use one trader and use one elder at any point in your turn. And then that's this. This is a trader, that's an elder. And then after we're done, we draw a card. And that's it. Simple, right? You draw a card, you play a card. That's simple. Actually, you play a card, then you draw a card. Okay, might be easiest to explain just as we go, but understand that there's three primary groups of actions. There's red actions, gray, and blue. The red have to do with the temple, the gray have to do with the walls, and the blue has to do with scribes and things around that. Um, the only other thing with a two-player game is there's these little white scribes here. And these white scribes are, so I don't want to get into the whole action, but when it's your chance to play a scribe, you can't play one right up here at the top. So playing a scribe could mean, like putting a guy here, for example. I can't do that. The rules for placing scribes is you have to start at the bottom and work your way up. So right now, these two scribes are here, meaning that if I wanted to place a scribe right now, this is available. These two are available because of him, and these two are available because of him. I could also take his spot, which then moves him up. And then once I take his spot, he moves up to there. So this guy is like a placeholder that lets you piggyback off of him. And we'll get more into depth about it later, but just wanted to make sure you understood that basic premise. All right, so the cards, like I said, were shuffled. This is what we're starting with, and we always go first. So let's do that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to play one of these cards, and the banners on the card are going to dictate the kind of actions we get to do. I just explained that you got the red, the blue, and the gray. So this would give me 2 gray actions or 1 blue if I played this. And I would not have any red actions available to me if that was the case. So that's what I got to do is I got to pick what do I want to play, and then I get that many actions and just that. Now, how do I know how many actions are important? Well, that's where we get into the different things. So like for the blue actions, you can move your tent around the camp, and it costs this many blue banners to do. To place a scribe, it costs this many blue banners. So to place in the top row here would cost you 7 blue banners and 2 gold, for example. For the red, this is the number of banners you have to spend to start building the temple, or to put fuel on the altar. And then for the gray, the number of banners you spend is here. So it costs this many banners to remove the rubble. It costs you this many banners to build a gate or a wall. And you're always allowed to, to build a gate or wall, the banners is written on it. But you could always spend 3 more banners as a substitute for any resource. Or you could use a gold as a substitute for any resource. So if you have the 3 banners here and you don't have that wood, but you have the 2 stone, you could actually spend 6 banners. Or you could spend 3 banners and 1 gold. That's all that's saying. Now these gates here have money on them. That's all part of the setup. There's going to be ways where people are going to do trade actions that could put more money on these. The moment that a player builds one of these gates, they get all the money that's on it, and then they would continue to get money. Building gates can get you resources and money throughout the game. Now, the trade action is here. So remember we said you get to do 1 trade action or 1 of these development tiles. Well, let's do the development tiles real quick. That's real simple. So this is the elder tile. If I have 3 gold, I can trade in 3 gold to flip this tile. I will automatically get to return an elder. That's what that's saying. And then I can flip the tile. I'm going to get 2 points at the end of the game, and then this is like a much upgraded version of what you see here. So that's how that would work. And each of these tiles can be flipped. The cost is in the brown, the green is your reward. And then the trade action is something that, like, okay, if I play this card, I can do the trade action at the bottom of only the card I played. And then what this is saying is I'd have to pay 1 silver to the owner of the dung gate, and then I get to do either of these options. I can just gain 1 wood, or I can spend 2 silver and gain, that's 2 more silver. So that would be 3 total to get 2 wood. So that's how that works. Now you might be wondering about the top here. These are scoring opportunities that will happen during Sabbath. And let's talk about the flow of the game. The game is played over 3 weeks. And as Jewish custom, you work 6 days of the week, and on the 7th day you rest, which is called Sabbath. So in this game, we're going to play 6 actions. 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6. Remember, these are going to go 2 deep. You can never go 3 deep on any of these. So you're going to play eventually 6 cards, 2 deep in all 3 of these spots. That's going to finish up a week. And then once the week's over, we're going to prepare for Sabbath, which I don't know if there's a symbol anywhere. Right here, that's a prepare for Sabbath symbol. And do all these things that happen when you're preparing for Sabbath, and then there's going to be like opportunities to score points. You're going to have to feed your workers, and that's an opportunity to lose points. So you need bread for feeding your workers, and it's one bread per worker, in case you're wondering. And and then of course this here is the altar, and right now this is our level of contribution to the altar. And you can see that in the first Sabbath, we need to be between. See, right here is the first prophet. Zechariah is at 3. Haggai is at 9. And if you're on the left side, if you're below him, you're going to lose a bread. Well, actually, I think you still gain a bread. I think that's a gain. I think this is the lose. I'll have to look that up. I didn't even realize you could possibly gain for being below him. Very interesting. If you're in between them, you gain. No, because see, that would mean you're. That's a different symbol. I gotta look this up. 1 second. Okay, I was correct. Um, I always assumed that anything that was short of this guy was a lose. Because, like right here, you lose 3 points. This is you lose 1 food. You actually gain 1 food if you somehow didn't make it to him. So he's very kind to you in the first round. But this one, see, in between, you gain something, but here you still lose a food, even though you're in between these two at the final round. Otherwise, you're at the end and you gain these, which is it's very interesting. I didn't realize. I always thought that if you were short of the gray prophet, you always lost something. This one you always gain something minimal, and this one you always gain something great. I always thought it was like an always thing. I did not realize that it varied that much. Okay, so um, I guess that does change what I'm saying a little bit, but basically, you want to be past this guy, preferably past both of them, and it's like a little gauge. So in round one, they're between 3 and 9, and then they move to 6 and 11, and then 10 and 14. All right, so I can talk on and on and on. This game has a lot to it, but let's go ahead and get started. And I think getting back to the rubble thing, it costs 2 to remove 1 stone or whatever. I think I maybe want to start with gray, or I could start with red. Which one should I do? Let's do both red and gray. We'll do this one. So I'm going to start with the carpenter, and he has 2 red banners, so we're going to do the red action. And 2 red banners isn't much. So one of the things you get to do is you get to optionally place 1 Levite before or after your action. You can use the Levite to either place 1 resource in the temple or altar, or gain 1 additional red banner. Now, we have a Levite that's already here. That's what these are. And okay, so some of you, if you're not familiar with biblical Jewish Old Testament terms, a Levite is basically a priest for them. It was a particular tribe, the tribe of Levi, and the Levites, they manage the temple. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to choose to add a Levite, which I'm going to choose yes. I want to do that. So I'm going to spend 2 food. And I'm going to take one of my available workers and turn him into a Levite. And in doing so, I gain 1 cinder automatically. Like so. Alright, so why did I want to do this? Well, for each Levite that you have at the temple, you can place a resource here or on the altar. So if I want to burn 2 things at the altar, like 2 pieces of wood, I would, first of all, I would need 6 red symbols, or red banners, and I would need 2 Levites to be able to do that. Or, if I only have 3 red banners, I can burn 1 wood here, and I can actually turn the second Levite into a red banner. So he counts as extra red banners for me if I don't want to place 2 resources up here. So I got a lot of choices. I do have a wood. So I can also start building the temple. And remember, I said that I have 2 red banners. By having these 2 here, it lets me put 2 resources here. Well, I only have one resource that can go into the temple. So what I could do is I can convert this into a red banner. So now I have 3 red banners. So I can place that wood here and I would get my food back, or one of the food. Now, why would I do that? Well, that also scores me a point. And as the temple fills up, these things start to trigger too. And then the temple's divided into 3 sections. That's one of the options I could do. Just understand that if I'm only placing one resource, I can count. I need to use one of these to place the resource. Any one that's left over, I can count as an extra red banner. That's the key thing to understand. But what I think I'm going to do is I have 2 of these here, which lets me put 2 resources out. And I happen to have 2 cinders. So I'm going to burn 2 cinders at the altar, which costs 2 red banners. I just so happen to have 2 red banners. And so I'm going to use these 2 Levites to burn 2 cinders, using up both of my red banners. And that lets me move up the track here twice. 1, 2. Now the order on this matters. Whoever's on the bottom is this track is used as the tiebreaker. Whoever's on the bottom is considered to be in the lead. So if this guy ever gets 2, I'm still winning in terms of tiebreaker. Now by advancing 2, I gain a bread and a silver. So there you go. I got my bread anyways. So I get a bread back and I get another silver. Alright, and then I am 1 spot away from hitting this mark. So even though I guess I would get a bread, I would then get into this zone if I could move 1 more space. And then at the end of my turn, I draw another card. But before I draw that card, I could do a trade or this. Well, I clearly can't do this. I don't have any resources. I do have 6 money. Ooh. Do I really want to flip this guy for 6 money? Yes, I do. I'm going to spend all 6 of my money here. And let me get this off, and we're going to flip this guy. So by flipping him, I gain a tent action, and we'll talk about that in a second. Now, what do I get for doing this? Well, first of all, I can now store unlimited resources. Here, I was limited to 7 resources is all I could store here. Now I can store unlimited. Also, during the Sabbath phase, I get to recall one of these elders or tradesmen and use them again. And I know I haven't explained this very well, but during your turn, at any time you can take one of your workers and put them in one of these spots and you get the reward. So if I wanted to get 2 more red banners, I could have. But once you put, like, let's say a worker here, he's used up. And then at the end of the week, when the Sabbath comes, you use whatever workers you have left to either farm or work. And these workers aren't available to do these 2 actions. What this is saying is during the Sabbath, I get to take one back and I can make them also do farming or working. Something like that. Anyways, that's what that all that means. And so this is very nice, and I also get 2 points. It hurts to lose all your money like that, but I actually really like unlocking that this early in the game. There is something, though, I want to bring your attention to here. If I would have gained this scribe, every time you flip a tile, you gain a gold. That would have been nice to have before you start flipping the tiles. So if you want to start, like, really maximizing your game, maybe you should get a scribe here first. But that's not the case here. This one here, after building a wall, immediately gain the printed benefit of any adjacent wall. So, like, there's some pretty cool things you can get here that change the way you play your game. Alright, turn is over. Flip this card, and ooh, I got somebody who has 3 red banners. Looks like I chose wisely. Alright, so now the AI goes. So the way you read this is he's choosing the fountain gate, which is the bottom right corner, this one. And basically this is used for determining decisions here. And then it also can be used for determining this. So he wants to trade, and he's going to spend the maximum money possible. He only has 2 money, so he can only do the top one. So he's going to spend 1 silver to move up 1 orange blessing, and that's all this does for him. Oh, I forgot. I get to do my tent. So my tent goes clockwise, and I gain a red blessing. Now the blessings don't do anything unless all 3 of them are filled up or past it, and then I gain what's on the top. But only after all 3 blessings are there. All right, so that's it for the yellow card, or the lion card. Very simple. Then here it's basically you do the topmost action that can be done. So to the left here are requirements. They are not spent. I want to make sure this is very clearly understood. You're not spending these. These are just requirements. So do they have 2 or more workers? No. Do they have 0 or 1 gold? Yes, they have 0 gold. So they're going to gain 2 gold. It's that simple. That's all that happens is they just gain 2 gold for doing nothing. The AI sort of cheats that way. And that's it. That's the end of their turn. They don't actually spend any gold. They just gain 2 gold. So his turn's over. It was just like that. That's one thing about the solo bot that I really do like. Okay, well, now that we drew 3 red banners, I'm going to ride this... I'm going to ride the red banner train. So here we go. I got 5 red banners now. And I'm going to take one of my workers, and we're going to do... We're going to do this one. So I'm going to gain 2 silver since I lost all my silver. It'd be nice to get some of it back. And we're going to gain a bread. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend that 3 bread. We're going to make another Levite right here. So it cost me 3 bread. I'm going to gain a stone for doing that. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red banners. Let's go. I have a stone and a wood, which means I could burn the wood here for 3, which would give me a bump of 2 here. But I think with my 5 red banners, I actually have 2 more here, so that makes it 7 if I'm only going to spend 1 resource, right? So what I could do is I could spend 4 and 3 to make it 7. Let's see, no, because if I'm spending 2 of them, then I only have 6 red banners. I could theoretically go here to get 2 more red banners and a bread. I don't know if I want to, though. I just want to... So I'm trying to figure out, can I spend both of these? If I spend the wood, it's going to cost me 3 red banners. And if I spend both of them, I'm using 2 Levites. So I have 1 Levite left over, which means I have 6 total red banners. So let's say I spend the wood. That costs 3 of my 6. So the wood gives me 2 altar bumps. So I'm going to go 1, 2, like so. I'm now past him, and I gain an orange blessing. So I have 3 banners left, so I can just put this on the 3 banner track right here, and I gain a bread back. Like so. And then I also score a point. Now my turn's over. This is getting tricky because if I keep adding more and more, the bread cost gets higher and higher. So it'd be nice to do a run on the red banners, but I don't know. Like, there's not much more I could do, folks. I'm out of resources. I don't have. I don't know if this was a smart start, to be honest, but we'll try it. Okay, the fish gate. So he's going to spend 1 silver to the fish gate, right? But then he has to spend 2 silver or 5 silver to do the trade. He doesn't have enough. So when he doesn't have enough, he moves his tent instead. So he's going to move his tent to here, and he gains a red blessing. And then we're going to draw the lamb. He has 2 gold, so he's going to build a wall. Now, building a wall for him is pretty simple. And see, this is where this comes in. So which wall is he going to build? He's going to start at the fish gate and he's going to go this way around the board. So the fish gate is here. So he's going to build this wall right here. Now this wall happens to have 2 gold on it, and he's going to get that 2 gold. If it was any other resource, that resource would have turned into gold. And he gains the purple blessing. And he ignores the cost to build the wall, and instead, building a wall always costs him 3 gold. So he pays 3 gold for that, and then he's going to just draw the top card of his wall deck, which is different than the way we do it. And it's going to just go right on, boom, just like that. So he's going to get 2 points at the end of the game. And he gains a tent movement, so that gives him 2 silver. Whoops. So there you go. That's how he did his turn. And you can see here, like, he loses 2 points if he's below, and he gains a point if he's above. So he doesn't quite follow the same rules we do. Alright, so now it's back to us. I forgot to draw my card at the end of my last turn. I could have also spent a gold for 3, but I don't have any gold. So now I got a tough choice to make, because as much as I love the red banners, and I can actually add 2 more, I don't have anything to spend. Like, I definitely don't have enough bread to put another Levite out, and I don't necessarily need to. But then it becomes, okay, well, I need a resource. So I could put a trader here to get a resource. And then I can put that 1 resource out and onto the temple. Here at the 5, which gives me another worker. I could do that. This would give me 7 red banners. Man, that's a tall order. All of that just to build 1 more spot up here. Or I can go different. I can like do the 2 blue here. There's no other blues up there. Or one of these 2 grays. And I can start working on the wall. But I would have at most 3 gray. And you can see here that's 1 of these cubes and 1 of those. And I don't even know if we have a situation where, right here, I can get both of those cubes off, but I wouldn't be able to build it. I would just be able to take the cubes. And you know what? That's actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the jeweler here. So I will have 1, 2, 3 gray. It would be nice to do the red, but the red's not going to be efficient for me. And this is going to be 2, and that's 1. And you can just look at this chart here to see. So I just gained 2 resources, and that's it for my action. Now, I don't have the ability to flip anything, and I don't want to do the trade. I have 2 silver. I guess I could pay 2 silver to get a gold. You know what? I'll do that. So 1 of the silver goes to the east gate. Whoops. Who has the east gate? I don't know my gates. Oh, the east gate is gone. So that means it just goes to the bank. And then I'm going to spend 1 more silver. And I get a gold. And then I go back up. So we're already done halfway through our week. Now it's his turn again. So he's focusing on the horse gate. He's going to spend 1 silver for a purple blessing. Oh, when all 3 of these hit here, he gained a altar space. Which means he gained a bread, which counts as a silver. This should have been done last turn or whenever he actually accomplished that. And we already paid the 1 silver for the blessing. And then we do this one. So does he have 1 worker and 2 gold? No, he does not. Does he have 2 gold? No, he does not. Instead, he's going to gain a worker and a gold That's his action. So he gains a worker and a gold. His turn's over. Now it's to us. We got a lot of nice resources here. So I'm going to go ahead and see, now this is where it's interesting. So I could take this one and cover the jeweler. Then I would be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 banners. And with those 7 banners, I would be able to put one of these out for 5 and another one out, to move up the altar track. It's very interesting. I still don't have enough bread to put another Levite out. Not that I need to. So, option 1, cover this up, and then I have just a massive amount of red banners. The reason why I'm not interested in that is I happen to have gray banners here, and another gray there, and I'm covering up my gray banners if I do too much of this. Now, if I want to build that wall, I need to have 2 wood and a stone plus 3 banners. Oh, by the way, when I cleared this, I gained a red. I forgot to do that. Now, what I could do then instead, though, is I could do something like this. Now I have 5 gray banners. Basically, I'm like, hey, I did enough with the red banners this round. Let's start to do some gray banners. So then I'd have 2, 4, 5 gray banners. Now, if I wanted to build this, it costs 3, a stone and 2 wood. And I have the stone, but I don't have the 2 wood. I could use a gold instead of a wood, so technically I have 1 of them, but then I would need 3 more banners, so that's 6 gray banners. So I could take one of my workers here and put it here to gain 2 more gray banners. See, that's the thing. You need a lot of actions to do what you want to do. What are the choices here? I could also just go completely different route and start dominating it with the blues. And there's a part of me that thinks like that might be the better option here. Oh. I'm truly torn. The gray banners is I just don't have enough to even build that one wall. And any of these walls, see it costs 3, 4, 3. I just don't have the right resources, and cinders never build you walls. They're only good for burning on the altar, the cinders. You could use cinders to flip this, which is your farmer tile. Now, why don't I want to spend these? I could spend these, right? It's just that I need food for every one of my workers here and on the board. The only people I don't have to feed ever again are the Levites. So these guys, they're fed because of the food donation we gave here. So they're fed for the rest of the game because of this. And we don't have to ever feed them if they're here. But everywhere else on the board, including the gatekeepers here, they all eat 1 food, or you lose 2 victory points. The wall thing, So if I were to build this one, why is it that I'm obsessing over this? I gain 3 money when I build it. Plus I get to gain whatever the bonus is on my card. So that's why I'm considering it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to put this one here, the lookout. So I have 2, 4, 5. So it would cost me 3. It'd cost me 6 banners. So that means I would have to put 1 here, which gives me another cinder. So I'm now at 7 gray banners. And by the way, you can only pick one gate and do something at that one, or one wall or gate. So I can't say, okay, I'm going to spend one here, one here, one here. Like, you can't do that. Now, I could try to do the water gate, which this one would cost me one of my 7. That would be 3, and then 3 more would cover one of these resources, right? And then I have the 2 others. So I could build the water gate. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. Because then that uses all 7. And then what happens is I gain the $2 here. I build the water gate. And in doing so, I gain a wild blessing. So I'm going to take the purple blessing, which now gives me an altar bump. This altar bump gains me my gold back. And then, let's see, I took this, and then this is gone. So I probably want to do a red action sometime soon, if I can. So I might just do that. It all depends. I'm sort of building up now to do blue actions. Alright, now I can do the bottom here. Oh, right here. Look, I could spend a cinder to gain a silver infinite times. So I'm actually going to do 2 of them to gain 2 silver. Now, why am I doing that? I just talked about how that would help me with the track here in the red, because I'm looking at my situation and I don't want to play this card. I have my 1 blue banner here, and if I put these 2 out, I'm going to get a lot of blue banners before the round ends. Alright, so that was my turn. I did my little trade action at the bottom. I'm done, and now it's going to be his turn. Let me pause real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Now, one of the tricky parts about this game is there's a lot of moving parts. And I think one of the challenges with playing solo is you have to remember everything, which I'm sure I'm going to forget a few. But with multiple players, you can, keep each other honest. And I also think that if I did have a gripe with this game, it's that these tiles here are very powerful. And I have a tendency when I'm at somebody else's house, because I'm older, my eyesight's not as good, and the symbology just overwhelms people. Like when you're first learning a game, it's like, what does this mean? What does this mean? And there's a tendency to just ignore this whole track, which is what I'm doing right now. And if you ignore the whole thing, then you sort of take the mindset of, well, I'll just try to find another way to win. And I think one of the beauties of this game is that there probably is another way to win. It's just that I do think that if you really want to be a master at the game, or if you're playing against somebody else who's really good, I don't think this would be completely neglected. But we're actually building up to start using the track ourselves, so we'll see. Now, the AI bot doesn't care. He just does whatever the heck he wants. He's doing Watergate. Now, this one's actually going to help us. He chose Watergate, and the reason why I say that is, look, we happen to build... Oh, we built Watergate. Sorry. There we go. We built the Watergate. So this is us. So he's going to do something there. He's going to trade at the Watergate, which means he's going to give 1 silver to the owner of the gate. Now there's some goofy rule here that I think we take it from the supply. So they always try to spend as much silver. All the same rules as player trades, including how they play. Okay, so in this case, we do get his silver. Sometimes he doesn't pay us. We gain our money from the bank. That's the reason why I got hung up there. So he has 3 silver. He has to pay 1 to the gate, which is me. I own the gate, so I get the money. And then he's going to spend 1 to move up on the altar track. So he will move up one more, and he will gain a silver right back for doing that. That's it. And then over here, I drew a wall card. Sorry. Does he have 2 workers? Yes. Does he have 2 gold? Yes. So what he's going to do is he's going to take the highest most scribe part. Now, where on the scribe? There's right now the highest scribe part is the 3 bottom ones. Now, that's where this comes in. So this is on the right side. So if you think of this, you divide this up into 3 parts. This is in the rightmost part. So he's going to take the rightmost spot, which is right here. Then this bumps up either to here or here. And per the rules, they always stay along the edge. So he's going to bump up there. So he takes Zerubbabel, which just means that this is no longer available to him. He does gain 2 bread for this. And instead of gaining bread, he's going to gain silver. Like that. Alright, so his turn's over. So if I want to take this spot or this spot, I now have to pay him 1 silver for the privilege of going there. And this says you do not need to feed your farmers and laborers during Sabbath, which is actually quite good. After building a wall, immediately gain the printed benefit. Yep. So farmers and laborers, by the way, are this and this. And right now I only have the potential for 1. So let's see, what's this one? Gain 1 victory point immediately. Gain 2 additional banners. And 1 silver when you place elders. Oh, wow. That can be pretty good. You do not need to feed your scribes during each Sabbath. Oh, 1 second. Sorry for the interruption again. So, these 3 guys on the bottom, they're heroes. Ezra and Nehemiah, of course, being what the game's named after. And then Zerubbabel is the... Zerubbabel. So, when you take one of these heroes, you gain the reward at the bottom based on which week you're in. So we're in week 1 right now, so you would get the leftmost reward. If you're in week 2, you get the middle and the left. You get all of them. And then if it's week 3, you get all 3 of them. So you might be thinking, well, hey, I want to wait until week 3 before I get this. Well, the other thing you get is when you take him, you get a permanent red banner, meaning that when I'm counting up my red banners over here on these 3 cards, his gets added to it. So that's one of the reasons why you want to get it early. Now the solo bot doesn't use the banner system, so this card's worthless to him, but he still gets the stuff on the bottom. Okay, so it's our turn, and I'm recognizing I forgot to draw a card again. So here we go. This is our choices. I think I'm going to do the 3 blue here. I'm going to go there. Okay, I'm playing my teacher. And we're going to do the blue action. So we got 3 and then 1 more for 4. And I can take one of these if I wanted. So for example, I can take that one. You do not need to feed your scribes during Sabbath. The scribes are the guys that are on here. If I were to take this one, I do lose a point. And I have to pay a silver to the bank. Because I'm using this scribe to do that one. I also need 5 blue banners, which I don't think I have. I have 4 blue banners. And I need food. I need to save this guy to do some farming. So, with only 4 banners, and I'm going to take my worker here and we're going to put him on Ezra. Or Nehemiah. Which one should I do? Well, do I want to go this way or... Yeah, I'm going to do Ezra. Which pushes that up to there. Well, I could do Nehemiah, which then unlocks these 2 for me. Because I don't have to pay silver if it's my guy I'm piggybacking on. This one's a really good one. So is that one. And that one, I'm looking further ahead. This one's really good. You pay one less stone, so that lines up with him. And then this one, you can do character cards that are more than just 2, 2, and 2. And your hand size is +1. And then if you go all the way up, or if I take Ezra, I'm going up this way. That one's nice, even though I've already turned one over. You know what? I'm going to do Nehemiah. So I'm going to take this guy. So he's supposed to tuck underneath this. And I know I can do this nonsense where, I pick that up and put it over top like this. But it's in Tabletop Simulator, that's a bit of a pain in the butt. So I'm just going to put him over here on the right, and we're going to build our own little thing. Just understand, I have an extra gray banner now, and I get a white stone right now. So that's what I get for that. Now, that cost me 3 banners. It also cost me 2 silver. And that's what this is. So, boom. Done. Alright, and then I am here. I have Nehemiah. Okay, now it's his turn. Oh, I get another card. Ooh, that is really nice. Yeah. Alright, so he's going to do Valley Gate. So he's going to spend 1 to the Valley Gate. Then he has just 3 more, so he's going to spend 1 for 1 gold. And that's it for this. And then over here, he doesn't have 2 workers. He has 1, so he's going to gain 2 more. Done. Alright, back to us. My original plan was I was going to continue with the blue banners and overwrite the jeweler. But now that I got this mason, I have 3 gray banners. I can do 7 total here. That's really nice. I gain 2 food if I build next to him. I don't have a lot of resources, but I could gain a gold. To mine a gold costs 3 banners. See, and it costs 4 more to build. So I can build this wall for 7. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and technically I have an 8th up here. Or I overwrite this, and I have 3, 4, I would have 6 blue banners. And for 5 of them, I can move up and take one of these. Like I'm thinking this one. However, I do have the 3 silver. I think I'm going to start riding the banner train. Oh, hold on. He has to go here. Whoever I place has to go there. So this would be 3, 4, 5, 6 banners. That would be breaking the rules. So I'm covering up this one. Yeah, I think I'm going to go back to my original plan. We're going to do this. We'll place the soldier. We have 3, 4, 5, 6 blue banners. And this isn't enough because I would need 7 banners. Or I'm sorry, blue banners, 6. There's 5 here. So which one do I want? I can make it so I don't have to feed those guys. Or I can make it so my elders get extra stuff. I think I ultimately want this, so I want to go this way. So, oh no, I don't have any workers left. Bad choice, bad choice, bad choice. Nope, we're going to stick with it. 3, 4, 5, 6 banners. Instead, I'm here. For 4 banners, I can move 2 tent spots. Man, if I had just one more to move 3, I don't like this. But I don't have any workers. I could have done a wall thing. That would have been 3, 4, 5, 6 wall. 2, 3, 4. That takes 7. This one only takes 3. I don't have the resources though. Yeah, doesn't not good either way. We're gonna continue. Unfortunately, I can't do any of these because I don't have a worker which can act as a scribe. Largely because I put all these guys out. See, you can't do everything in the game. You gotta pick and choose. So instead, I'm gonna spend 4 to move the tent twice. So 1, 2 gets me a gold and a purple blessing. Not really the greatest turn in the world, but that's all I get to do. Then here I can spend 1 silver to the fish gate, and there I can gain a worker. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to spend 3 silver. 1 goes to the fish gate. The other 2 to the bank. And then gain a worker. Which, this is probably a poor move. I only have 1 food, and now I got to feed this guy. But that 1 worker is going to get me 2 food. So actually, that was not a bad move. Alright. And then we're going to finish up his turn. He's doing sheep gate. He's going to spend 1 silver for a red blessing. And then he's going to do the top here. He's going to gain a silver. Plus he's going to take the bottommost scroll that he can take. So this guy is coming out, and see, this is on the left side. So he's going to take Ezra. So now Ezra's gone, and instead of getting a black cube, he gains a gold cube. That's his turn. Alright, so that brings us to the end. Now we do what's called the Sabbath. And the Sabbath is different for me versus him. For him, the Sabbath is pretty easy. Let me see here. Resolve the prophet's judgment on the solo board. So the judgment is this. He is below the gray, so he's going to lose 2 points. You can see that right here. He needed to get 1 more spot, so he does lose 2 points. Trust me, he'll get plenty more. Then he's going to gain 1 silver per worker. That's here. So he has 2 workers. So he's going to gain 2 silver. And the workers are just the ones that are unspent. And then he's going to gain 1 VP for gatekeeper, scribe, or Levite. That's this part over here. Of which they have the most. He's supposed to get this too. Alright, I think there's some typo in that thing. Let me check. They gain 1 silver per worker. They gain VP equal to the row value of the highest scroll tile. That's it right there. That's what this is saying. Oh, right there it is. I'm sorry, I skipped over it. Okay, so their highest scroll tile is this one, so they gain 1 VP. Now we do this part. So this is gatekeeper, Levite, or scribe. So what that's saying is, okay, he has one, two gatekeepers. I'm sorry, one, two gatekeepers, a Levite, which is three, and a scribe, which is two. So two gatekeepers, one Levite, or two scribes, right? So the most he has is a gatekeeper. He has two of those, or he has two scribes. Whichever way you want to look at it, he gains 2 points for that. Then he gets his rightmost blessing, which is two. So he's going to get 2 more points for that. And then he gets, for the most of the golden flames, he didn't get to the first one yet, so he gains no points for that. And then after the Sabbath, shuffle all focus and scheme cards. So all this is saying is all these cards go back, shuffle, shuffle. Same with this, shuffle, shuffle. And then that's it for him. So his is pretty simple. And then we can flip this back over. He's ready for the next round. Now for us, we use farmers and laborers, and we resolve these commands. So I have one person here who I have to turn into a farmer for 2 food. And then this here lets me pull back one of these guys, and I'm going to use him for also a farmer, so I'm going to have 4 food. And this is critical because I got to feed all my people. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 people out there. And remember, I don't have to feed the Levites. So I need 7 food. I only gain 4 from this, and I have this, so I'm short 2 food. This is brutal. I'm going to lose 1, 2, 3, 4 points because I failed to feed my people. Oof. Then I get to take one of these cards and tuck them. And if I tuck them, I get the topmost thing. So I would get a blue banner for these two, a gray for these two, and a red for these two. And then I'm also going to score. So like for this one, for example, I'm going to get 1 victory point for every red blessing I have. So I would get 2 victory points. And I'm going to get this 3 times because this is the end of the first week. I'll get it again at the end of the second week and again at the end of the third week. And because it's going to go over here, and anything that's over here, you score at the end of every week. This one is 1 victory point plus 1 per gatekeeper I have. And actually, that's the one I'm going to choose. And that also gives me 2 gray banners now. So I'm going to get 1 victory point, and then I have 3 gatekeepers. So I have 1, 2, there's a third gatekeeper there. So that gives me 4 points, which makes up for my lack of food. And just to carry on, like this one would be the row value of your 2 highest scroll tiles, which I only have 1. This one is you get 1 victory point for each golden flame, which would have been 1 point. This one would be 1 for every Levite I have, which I do have 3. So that would have been a nice candidate. And then this one, 1 for every purple blessing, which would have been 2. And then what happens is the rest of the cards, and I should be up to 4 here. Shuffle, shuffle. And now we're ready to start week 2. So we move the prophets. So we got to do a little bit more than just this. This doesn't show everything. Because here's the other thing that happens is I am between this prophet and this prophet. So I get to do this. Oh my gosh. That means I get to take this guy back and gain 2 more food, which means I would have been able to feed my people. So I'm going to give myself 1, 2, 3, 4 points back. I would have had just enough. This bonus right here, folks, you get to pull back one of your elders and use it as a farmer. which I was able to pull him back and then gain 2 more food, which was the 2 food I was short of. So that's awesome. So then we moved to 6 and 11. So this thing moves to 6, this moves to 11. The other thing is we tuck our card, which was here, and then over here, this is the first Sabbath. We just follow this way. Whoever had the most gains a worker. I'm the furthest along, so I gain a worker. And then all 3 of these guys, oops, come back as a worker as well. So I have 4 workers to start the next round. I have 2 permanent gray banners also to start the next round. So, a little bit of retconning and whatnot, but anyways, that completes 1 week, or the first Sabbath, and then we got 2 more to go before the game ends. Right now, I'm winning by a very small margin, but he's gonna start steamrolling and scoring more points, largely because he just keeps putting stuff out, and so these things that are getting him points are gonna just grow and grow and grow. Anyways, thanks for watching. As always, stay awesome.